Risk management is something that everybody should be doing in their Lego reselling business, right? There are certain things that you want to avoid or not even come close to, and that will allow you to have a better reselling business every year. Hello everybody, my name is Jim and welcome to the Wolf for Bricks YouTube channel. If you haven't done it already, go ahead and like this video and subscribe to the channel. It helps us out so much. So I'm hoping this is going to be a short video because I don't want to take up everybody's time. I just want to share with you the top 3 things that are keeping me up at night as a Lego reseller. And at the end, I'm going to share with everybody something that I would say maybe half of you should definitely be thinking about. I don't need to think about it, but you'll need to think about it, and we'll talk about that a little bit later. So the first thing that keeps me up at night, and not as much as some of the other things I'm going to share, but this is something that should be on everybody's mind, right? And that is when Lego decides to move back a retirement date instead of 2025, maybe 2026 or 2027, right? I think everybody learned a lesson last May the 4th that a couple months afterwards, I believe Lego saw what the sales were doing during that May the 4th weekend, and they decided to push some Lego sets back a year or two, which was disappointing, right? Because I told all of the VIP members last year that, you know, this really is the year of Star Wars, right? And then sure enough, 6 or 8 weeks after May the 4th, they rearranged everything, and the last thing it was the year of Star Wars, right? It was the year of, for me, it was brickheads, right? We had so many brickheads that we were buying, and now there really aren't that many brickheads out there that are worth buying. But that's one of the things. And just to give another anecdotal story was, you know, they have the Harry Potter triple-decker bus coming out again, right? That purple one. And let me tell you, I'm going to say the same thing I said a couple years ago. That probably won't be on a lot of people's radar, right? But it does very well historically over time. And I had a lot of those purple bus triple-decker Harry Potter sets, right? And I think it was November, right? It wasn't even like in July, August, or September. They waited till November to go ahead and announce that they were pushing it back another year. So that's the thing that I'm worried about. Not necessarily that they're going to be pushing back Lego sets another year or two, because they do that every year, right? But it's doing it in October, November, and maybe even December. That's really going to not screw up the inventory, but it's going to be something that I'm definitely going to have to navigate through. But if you have enough diversified inventory, it shouldn't hit you that much. Another thing that I'm worried about, and for those of you that know, you know, I am worried about a Lego shortage. Now, some of you may be saying to yourself, why is that something you should be worried about? Shouldn't that be a good thing? If Lego is not producing a lot of Lego sets, you know, that should help us resellers out because we could put more inventory out there. That's kind of true, but the thing about it is, and we've seen this during COVID predominantly, and we've seen it at the beginning of the year, anytime there's a Lego shortage, that means there's less discounts, right? Now, I was pleasantly surprised that there were some Lego discounts this Valentine's Day weekend / President's Day weekend, right? And I was so happy because I hope and believe that this will hopefully be a good year whenever it comes to sales, right? We usually have to wait for the Mother's Day sales and the grads and dads and all that stuff. But to see a sale this early, it really made me happy. So I hope that's something that we will continue to see. But let me tell you, there have been public Lego shortages in the past, and there has recently been some not public Lego shortages in the past. Again, if you know, you know. And you know, that is something that I'm watching, because whenever it comes to my hit list and what I'm wanting to buy this year, you know, that could definitely impact it. Now, this is probably the one thing that really does keep me up in the middle of the night, and that is vanishing inventory, right? I believe we're seeing a trend. Maybe not last year, but 2 years ago, right? We had the Coliseum. Now that Coliseum set wasn't, you know, on my hit list or my #1 thing, right? But we saw that vanish unexpectedly, and there were some people that were really in to the Coliseum set, and they were doing whatever they could to go and buy it. They weren't driving hours, but you get the point, right? They were really trying to gobble that up at full price Jones too, right? I mean, they were not waiting for any discounts. Now last year, you know, the Cantina, that was a little bit of a surprise. When did that, help me out in the comments section. I want to say that started to vanish in July and August, and then out of nowhere you had that Batcave shadow box just poof, right? And I'm like, are you serious? And I think I made a video about this vanishing inventory, and there are some specific sets, not going to say them, but there are some specific sets that I'm relying on buying, and I'm wanting to put a lot of money into it this year. Am I buying already this year? Yes. And pretty much the main reason why I'm purchasing already this year is because there are a couple sets that I'm really, really interested in that I have serious fears are going to go ahead and vanish come August, September, October. So I want to at least grab maybe 100 or 200 of those sets now, and then as we get closer to the end of the year, November, December, if there's more available, then definitely go ahead and snatch them up. So those are my top 3 things that keep me up at night whenever it comes to Lego reselling and investing. Now the one thing, and let me tell you, this pains me to say it because I'm going to say this and it's going to hit some people hard because it's currently happening to them. Those people that do FBA and they have tens of thousands of inventory still being held hostage, right? Now, just as a refresher, right? Not last year, but 2 years ago, there was a lot of inventory that was held up during Q4, and then come January and February, their inventory was, you know, they were no longer held hostage. People had access to them, and people were able to sell them. Well, there are a lot of people that had their inventory held hostage at the Amazon warehouse, and they still, I mean, we're in February, we're 9 days from March, they still don't have access to it, right? So what is going on there? Well, we could only speculate, and you know, the answer might be obvious to some people, but I know for myself, if I had any Lego inventory at the Amazon warehouses, the last thing I would do is go ahead and send more. So there are ways to manage risk in the future. We don't give investment advice here, but I certainly would not be sending anything else to Amazon, and there would be other platforms available out there that I would go ahead and sell those Lego sets on. And I think in my opinion, it's just best for everybody. So those are the 3 things that keep me up late at night. And I wanted to share that extra one because if you're doing FBA and you're not even thinking about that because you haven't been affected yet, you really need to start managing that risk. That's it, friends. Hope you enjoyed the video. As always, please go ahead and like and subscribe. Once again, my name is Jim with wolferbricks.com. Always go out there and get it.